Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over another part of Sparta I missed in my Sparta installation, so this will be sort of Sparta part 2, I guess. Alright, so if you haven't watched part 1, you need to go watch that first because I'm not covering any of that information. I'm just jumping straight into this major fact that I left out. Okay, so the Spartans had Helots, and they were slaves for farming. Okay, and so basically how this worked was Sparta over here. They wanted to just train all the time, and people go, well, how were they able to just train all the time and be super soldiers? It's because of that. They conquered the Helots, and so the Helots are over here, and they take them over, and they're slaves now, and they do, like, farming for Sparta and stuff. And then Sparta takes their crops, and the Helots hugely outnumber them. That's my little attempt at humor. They hugely outnumber them because their number sign's bigger. They outnumber Sparta, but still, Sparta reins them in with terror, with something called the Cryptia, which was sort of like a Spartan secret police type, really more terrorism, I guess. I'll just put terror. Anyway, so the Cryptia were Spartan elite trainees who would be anywhere from like ages 14 to 21. Spartan elite around 14 to 21. And here will be the diagram. And I'll just draw out a little space for me to draw that. In the yellow would be the diagram. So this is like the Helots and, sort of their fields. I'll just put an F for fields. And then this was the woods. The Cryptia would live in the woods, and the Helots didn't know that they existed, and they would go in and, sort of listen around, and if they heard of, like, a strong guy who was living here, or, like, a smart Helot here, and, like, a, powerful one there, so just, like, the top Helots, they would go in at night in the cover of darkness and kill, some top Helots, or really just any Helots, actually, and they would just kill them. And then they would get out and run all the way back to the forest. And all they got was a red cape, the traditional red cape, and daggers and stuff. And anyway, and then the Helots didn't, really know that they were there, and so they thought that there were killers living amongst them. I think some of them probably ended up figuring it out, I'm sure, at some point in history. But it kept them in check. I mean, under all their time that they were ruled for centuries by the Spartans, they only revolted 3 or 4 times, and obviously none of them were ever successful. So I'm trying to think if I forgot anything, and, oh yes, once every year, so I'll just abbreviate for annually, Sparta unofficially declared war, unofficial war on Helots. And then the Cryptia and the Spartan soldiers were just instructed to go in the night and kill any Helots they saw. And this did 2 things. It kept the Helots in check, kept Sparta's military strong. And the Helots is kind of ironic. The Spartans conquered them so that they could build up their military, and that's one of the reasons they actually were motivated to keep a strong military, was so that they could keep the Helots in check. Alright, so anyway, that was the last installment of the Sparta thing. It's just like a major detail that I missed in the other video, and so I thought that it would be easier to, add that, and I hope you guys enjoyed.